So in today's video, we're going to focus on some more hidden things that are in the game that the attachments don't tell you. I know we've done this a bunch of different times, and here it is again. So if you do enjoy the video, learn something new, please do me a favor, hit that like button. Go on today's video. I'm going to up it. People in the comments saying I've been setting it too low. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to 7,000. See if you guys can crush that number as you guys have been. And then if you do want to find your way back to the channel, make sure you do subscribe with notifications on. Also, just a heads up, my Gfuel code is still 30% off all the way until the end of today, September 7th. It'll go back down to 10% if you're looking to try something new for the first time, or you're looking to restock on a flavor you already like. Let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of what is happening today. So the first part that we're going to start with the video is the subsonic integral suppressor. And if you look right here, we got the sound suppression, no visible tracers, aim down sight speed is a plus, and then we have no enemy skulls, and then we also have decreased bullet velocity. So the one in particular that I want to go ahead and talk about is the no visible tracers. I'm going to talk a little bit about the no enemy skulls in a little bit as well, but the no enemy tracer, that's basically these little white things that fly through the air. If you have tracer rounds, those are going to be completely visible when you're firing your weapon from your perspective as well as the enemy's perspective. But when you use an integrated suppressor, it removes those. But this is the only integrated suppressor that it actually shows them on. So even though the monolithic integral suppressor doesn't say it, it actually hides tracers. So that's another reason to go with the monolithic integral suppressor over the standard monolithic suppressor. So we're going to talk about what guns it does apply to and which ones it doesn't, as well as show some in-game examples. So here's the two different sets of weapons side by side. This is the Kilo 141. On the left-hand side is the standard Kilo with no particular attachments, and the right has that integrated Whisper barrel that has the integrated suppressor as well as a little bit of extra range, bullet velocity type of stuff like that. So what we'll do is go over here. I'm just going to play it out so you can see this. And then what you'll notice is on the left, we're going to slow it down a little bit so you can see it if it's not obvious, because I think it's obvious to most people watching that there's a difference here. So what we'll do is take a look at this. I'll pause it here. And what you can see is these little whitish yellow tracers are coming out of the gun. And this is a standard without any specialized blue tracers from that the blue tracer pack or whatever that was with the Nikto pack. So what we can look at here is as I go forward, you can see these tracers dart across towards this blue dot, basically where I'm aiming. And on the right, you can see nothing. All you see is really like the smoke when the bullet actually makes impact. So in some cases, this could be a good thing. This could be a bad thing. But when we actually go through here and we're firing these bullets, you can see them very clear on this left side. And on the right, you're really not seeing anything other than the dust flare up when you're actually hitting the target. So we'll go ahead and look at it again. Now that you know what you're looking for, you'll be able to see the difference. Go ahead and get the reload in. And this is actually applied to all the integrated suppressors. So in the same example that we talked about the monolithic integral suppressor on the MP5, which is probably the most common one used, especially within Warzone. In multiplayer, you can mess around a little bit more because you don't need nearly as much range, especially on a lot of the rifles. So you can go with the integrated and you're not going to be punished nearly as hard as you would playing Warzone and putting on a stubby barrel on the M4. You're just going to lose so much range unless maybe you're going to use it as a closer range option, which isn't as practical. So let's go ahead and take a look at another example. So this one's actually full screen, and this one's going to be a little bit easier to see. What you're going to see is with this one, I'm going to have him fire the rounds, and what you're going to see is this is with the barrel. So you do see a little bit of the bullets. This is on the M4. This is actually that Predator barrel, which is more built for like SMG build, which has the integrated suppressor, faster ADS, that type of stuff. And what you're looking at here is you can see like maybe for like milliseconds there, it kind of comes through. When you shoot at the ground, you can still see the sparks from the tracer packs. This is that red, white, and blue tracer pack. And you see when they shoot, it does change the colors. So they are visible once they impact. But when we saw in the air, we really didn't see much. And so this is another hidden thing. Now you're going to see what it looks like when you use standard rounds in case maybe you're not 100% sure from memory what that looks like. You're going to see it side by side pretty much and be able to compare, oh, yep, this is the bullets are definitely obvious. So look at right here. This is what it looks like when you don't use one of those integrated suppressors on the M4 or the Kilo or any of those other guns. Those tracers are very visible, even though you can't really tell all the colors until they make impact. They are very visible compared to what we were just looking at a few seconds ago. When the tracers come across, super easy to see, even though on the ground, they pretty much look identical to what we saw when we had the suppressor. So let's go ahead and take a look at which weapons this is going to apply to and when you might actually want to go with this decision over another, because that's really what it comes down to. So we'll go ahead and go through these one by one. One of the weapons that does have one is the Kilo 1-for-1, which we demonstrated right there. The first example here is the Singard Arms Whisper. This gives you bullet velocity, which also gives you a little bit of range. I did a complete breakdown on the weapon as far as the bullet velocity, sound suppression, and the little bit of range you get because you're kind of getting that monolithic suppressor buff in range and bullet velocity, but you're also getting the integrated suppressor. The aim down speed, sight speed is a little bit slower, but this one is very practical, I would say, in 6v6, 10v10. In Warzone, not as much, because you definitely need that range when you're trying to use these rifles, especially for the improved recoil control. Even though this gun doesn't have a ton of recoil, the improved recoil control can definitely help you out. But think of this, if you're in a situation where maybe you're shooting someone and you're in a window and you're kind of shooting them down, they're not going to actually be able to see where those bullets are coming from as easily. Obviously, they're still going to be able to hear it, and they're going to see the flash of your muzzle flash. But overall, they're not going to be able to just pinpoint, oh, there's bullets right there. I know exactly where the person's at. It's going to be a little bit more of a struggle. So maybe not in Warzone, it's less practical. But when we go into other weapons, we have the same thing here. Maybe if you're playing on shipment, Predator barrel could be a good option. Maybe you're going to hide those bullets if you're up top in a crate, or you're just shooting someone at an angle. They're going to see it in the kill cam. And this might work again in 6v6, 10v10. Probably not ground war, probably not Warzone, unless you're going to use this as an SMG and maybe combine it with the sniper rifle like the HDR, which is pretty common. This can give you a little bit faster aim down sight. It will hurt your bullet velocity, which in turn will hurt your range. So something to be aware of. The M13 also has this, and it's the Tempest Cyclone. This could actually be a decent option, again, in multiplayer, whether it's 6v6, 10v10. I would say even in ground war it could be good, but in Warzone, I wouldn't say it's as practical, because this one's pretty much your long range option. So you want to go ahead and kind of max out that range as much as possible, which the Cyclone doesn't do as much as the Marksman, with the bullet velocity, with the recoil control, as well as having the opportunity to put on the monolithic suppressor, which is going to give you a little bit more range. So not as practical with the rifles, but with the SMGs, typically you're taking those at close quarters. So that's where this one comes in handy. And it definitely settles the debate, like which one between these two, even though maybe you want to see your tracers at range, you're still going to be able to kind of track where your bullets are. You're going to get hit markers. But overall, at point blank range, you probably want to go with the monolithic suppressor, because it's still going to give you that no tracer advantage over the actual monolithic suppressor. How many scenarios is that going to actually help? Probably so few that you can't even really count them. But the times it does help, why not take advantage of that? So overall, that's why I would still go with the monolithic integral suppressor. I'll touch on this one because I said I would. The no enemy skulls. Must be bugged, because this is actually a negative in my opinion, because when I first read this, I didn't do any testing on it. I would assume that when you shoot somebody, it's going to hide the death skull from the enemy players, but that's not what it does. It only hides them from your perspective. So for every kill you get, instead of having a death skull, it's not going to have one. The part that you actually, if you want others to hide death skulls where they're not going to be able to see your death skulls, just go to tracker, and this will hide the death markers of enemies you kill. So it's in this particular perk. It's not actually on an attachment. And then with the two new SMGs that we have, the two newer ones, we have the Fennec, which again has this integrated suppressor, same effect. Because I know sometimes people want to go with the Apex and then maybe put on the monolithic. This one will actually save you an attachment plus give you that bonus. And the same thing with the ISO. The ISO has the integrated barrel as well, the Nightshade, which pretty much does all that, But in addition to all these pluses, it's also hiding the tracers if you want them to be hidden. So it's just something to be aware of. And so it's just another thing they got wrong in the game. So pretty straightforward. Hopefully this helps you in your class setups. I haven't really seen much people talk about this. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, learned something new. If you did, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're brand new, looking to find your way back for more Call of Duty content, make sure you do subscribe with notifications on. Also, if you're looking to stay connected in other ways, usually we have Discord, which I'm pretty active in. We got Twitter. You can do Instagram, which I probably got to start uploading on. TikTok. I mean, we got all those. Link down in the description if you want to have more ways to interact. Appreciate all the support on the channel. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.